Hello guys, thank you so much for joining us back. You already know what day it is. It is a beautiful Bible study Thursdays. And we're here today because it's time for us to dive in to 1 Kings chapter 20. All right, so we're going to see what's going on because the last time we had Bible study, there's a new mantle, all right, on a new man of God. And so we're going to follow it up tonight to see what does that look like, all right? The transference, I like to call it. I hope that's a word, but that's what I like to call it. The transference, all right, of the mantle, all right? So let's just get on into it. On this channel, we are growing up and glowing up with the Lord God Almighty one step at a time. So if you are ready to get up out of your rut and to get to the next place in life, then make sure that you hit that button below and that you subscribe. All right, God has a lot for you here and you will receive it in the land of the living. So make sure that you become a part of our family as we venture into new territory. All right, so let's redirect our attentions to 1 Kings chapter 20. Get your Bibles, all right? And Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his host together, and there were 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots, and he went up and besieged Samaria and warred against it. And he sent messengers to Ahab, king of Israel, into the city and said unto him, Thus saith Ben-Hadad, Thy silver and thy gold is mine, thy wives also and thy children, even the goodliest are mine. And the king of Israel answered and said, My lord, O king, according to thy saying, I am thine, and all that I have. And the messengers came again and said, Thus speaketh Ben-Hadad, saying, Although I have sent unto thee, saying, Thou shalt deliver me thy silver, and thy gold, and thy wives, and thy children, yet I will send my servants unto thee tomorrow about this time, and they shall search thine house and the houses of thy servants, and it shall be that whatsoever is pleasant in thine eyes, they shall put it in their hand and take it away. Then the king of Israel called all the elders of the land and said, Mark, I pray you, and see how this man seeketh mischief. For he sent unto me for my wives and for my children and for my silver and for my gold, and I denied him not. Okay, verse 7, one more time. Then the king of Israel called all the elders of the land and said, Mark, I pray you, and see how this man seeketh mischief, for he sent unto me for my wives and for my children and for my silver and for my gold, and I denied him not. And all the elders and all the people said unto him, Hearken not unto him, nor consent. Wherefore he said unto the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Tell my lord the king, all that thou didst send for to thy servant at the first I will do, but this thing I may not do. And the messengers departed and brought him word again. And Ben-Hadad sent unto him and said, The gods, lower ye gods, do so unto me and more also, if the dust of Samaria shall suffice for handfuls for all the people that follow me. And the king of Israel answered and said, Tell him, let not him that girdeth on his harness boast himself as he that putteth it off. And it came to pass when Ben-Hadad heard this message, as he was drinking, he and the kings in the pavilions, that he said unto his servants, Set yourselves in array. Or it also says, or place the engines, all right? Set yourselves in array. And they set themselves in array against the city. And behold, there came a prophet unto Ahab, king of Israel, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou seen all this great multitude? Behold, I will deliver it into thine hand this day, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. And Ahab said, By whom? And he said, Thus saith the Lord, even by the young men of the princes of the provinces. Then he said, Who shall order the battle? And he answered, Thou. Then he numbered the young men of the princes of the provinces, and they were 232. And after them he numbered all the people, even all the children of Israel, being 7,000. And after them he numbered all the people, even all the children of Israel, being 7,000. And they went out at noon, but Benhadad was drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, he and the kings, the 32 kings that helped him. And the young men of the princes of the provinces went out first, and Benhadad sent out, and they told him, saying, There are men come out of Samaria. And he said, Whether they be come out for peace, take them alive, or whether they be come out for war, take them alive. So these young men of the princes of the provinces came out of the city, and the army which followed them. And they slew every one his man, and the Syrians fled. And Israel pursued them. And Benhadad, the king of Syria, escaped on an horse, with the horsemen. And the king of Israel went out and smote the horses and chariots and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. Verse 21 again. And the king of Israel went out and smote the horses and the chariots and slew the Syrians with a great slaughter. And the prophet came to the king of Israel and said unto him, Go, strengthen thyself, and mark and see what thou doest. For at the return of the year, the king of Syria will come up against thee. And the prophets came to the king, and the prophet, guys, just one, came to the king of Israel and said unto him, Go strengthen thyself, and mark and see what thou doest. For at the return of the year, the king of Syria will come up against thee. And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods, lower G gods, are gods of the hills. Therefore they were stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. Did you hear that? And the servants of the king of Syria said unto him, Their gods are gods of the hills. Therefore they were stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain, and surely we shall be stronger than they. And do this thing, take the kings away, every man out of his place, and put captains in their rooms. And number them, and number thee, an army, like the army that thou hast lost, horse for horse, and chariot for chariot, and we will fight against them in the plain. And surely we shall be stronger than they. And he hearkened on to their voice, and did so. And it came to pass, at the return of the year, that Benhadad numbered the Syrians and went up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children, Aphek or Apek, all right? And the children of Israel were numbered and were all present and went against them. And the children of Israel pitched them like two little flocks of kids or goats, but the Syrians filled the country. And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel. So we had a prophet first, now we're getting a man of God. And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel and said, Thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is God of the hills, but he is not God of the valleys. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into thine hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And there came a man of God and spake unto the king of Israel and said, Thus saith the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is God of the hills, but he is not God of the valleys. Therefore will I deliver all this great multitude into thine hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And they pitched one over against the other 7 days. And so it was that in the 7th day the battle was joined, and the children of Israel slew of the Syrians 100,000 footmen in 1 day. The children of Israel slew 100,000 footmen in 1 day. They killed 100,000 Syrians in 1 day. But the rest fled to Apek into the city, and there Orphek into the city, and there a wall fell upon 27,000 of the men that were left. And Ben-Hadad fled and came into the city into an inner chamber. So now 27,000 men die because a wall falls on them. All right? Yes, 27,000. All right? And his servants said unto him, Behold now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are merciful kings. Let us, I pray thee, put sackcloth on our loins and ropes upon our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. Peradventure he will save thy life. So they girded sackcloth on their loins and put ropes on their heads, and came to the king of Israel and said, Thy servant Ben-Hadad saith, I pray thee, let me live. And he said, Is he yet alive? He is my brother. Now the men did diligently observe whether anything would come from him, and did hastily catch it. And they said, Thy brother Ben-Hadad. Then he said, Go ye, bring him. Then Ben-Hadad came forth to him, and he caused him to come up into the chariot. And Ben-Hadad said unto him, The cities which my father took from thy father I will restore, and thou shalt make streets for thee in Damascus, as my father made in Samaria. Then said Ahab, I will send thee away with this covenant. So he made a covenant with him and sent him away. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Verse 35 once more. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor in the word of the Lord, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Then said he unto him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou art departed from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. Then he found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, so that in smiting he wounded him. All right, so that in smiting he wounded him. So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with ashes upon his face. And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king, and he said, Thy servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside and brought a man unto me, and said, Keep this man. If by any means he be missing, then shall thy life be for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent of silver. And as thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall thy judgment be. Thyself hast decided it. That's interesting how they spelled decided back then, but decided it. And he hasted and took the ashes away from his face, and the king of Israel discerned him that he was of the prophets. Verse 40 one more time. And as thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall thy judgment be. Thyself hast decided it. And he hasted and took the ashes away from his face, and the king of Israel discerned him that he was of the prophets. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go of thy hand a man whom I appointed, because thou hast let out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house, heavy and displeased, and came to Samaria. Verse 42 one more time. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house, heavy and displeased, and came to Samaria. So, this is so interesting. A lot has happened. But what is super important for us to understand tonight and to take away from this Bible study is that when God has said something, it will go forth. And if you don't agree with God, then you will have to pay the consequences, all right? These people, the Syrians, all right, they don't believe in God. They do not serve the God who created all of heaven and all of earth. And then it's interesting because Ahab wasn't serving God, but God had to show Ahab, I am God and I'm bigger than your little g gods. And that's why there was the showdown, all right? To show him that, yeah, you were serving Molech. That's who you probably were serving, but no. Molech is not the God of fire. Molech cannot make it rain, all right? God is showing that, okay, these other little false little G gods, which are really, we're going to get into it. Some of them are fallen angels. Some of them are evil ruachots, evil spirits. Ruachoth is the name of a spirit in Hebrew. But some of these little evil entities, they want to take God's praise. They want to be worshiped. So they will literally go to somebody and give you what you ask for so that you will praise them instead of praising God. But nothing, no human being, no angel, and no spirit is above God. God is above everything because God made all of us. Every last thing that you can see and you can't see, because in the spiritual realm, there are certain things we can't see. God has made everything. So God had to reveal to Ahab that you have chosen to serve these false pagan lower G gods, but I have to show you that I am God. I am God over rain. I am God over fire. I have created all things. So even though, yeah, you might have asked like Molech for something and he gave you something, but if I say it's not going to rain for 3 years, you better believe it's not going to rain. All right. So what is crazy is Ahab, he understands that God is greater than everything and everyone. All right. And that God is superior, that God is the only God. Okay. Capital G. God has made all things. God created all of heaven, all of earth, everything that we can see and what we can't see. And it's crazy that Ahab would go into this war. God sends a prophet, then a man of God to tell him how the war is gonna, like how it's gonna end, all right? That God is going to allow him to win, all right? So that the Syrians can know that he's the God, not just of the hills, but the God of the valleys. All right, God of the high places and the God of the low places, because God is God for everybody and over everything. All right. So what is so crazy is that Ahab would then allow for the king of Syria to get away when the Lord said, no, this thing must go forth. You know, so it's interesting, but that's what verse 42 is saying. And he said unto him, thus saith the Lord, because thou hast let go out of thy hand a man whom I appointed to utter destruction, therefore thy life shall go for his life, and thy people for his people. All right? And it's so crazy. It's kind of like I'd like to read and get to the next portion, but the next chapter. But just know that when God says something is going to go forth, that's what's going to happen. All right? Yeah. Whenever God tells us to do something, we have to follow God. We're not allowed to make up our own like ways. We can't create the rules. We don't get to make the rules. All right. The rules have already been made. And when God sends a real prophet or a real man of God into your life to tell you what he is saying, because maybe your ears are dull, maybe your eyes are dull, maybe your nostrils are dull, maybe your taste buds are dull, maybe your touch is dull. So you can't sense when the Lord is in the room. You can't hear when the Lord is speaking. You can't see when the Lord is moving. You can't smell when God is approaching. You can't taste the blessings of the Lord. You can't feel him. That's when God sends a prophet, which is a real prophet, not a false one, but his prophet. And that's when God will send his men, literal men of God. All right. And that's why tomorrow, make sure that you are on this channel. I'm going to upload part 2, all right, to how to identifying a false prophet. Well, a true prophet, I should say first, all right? How to identify a true prophet from a false prophet. Part 2 will be up tomorrow. Make sure that you're here for that because prophets are here. And I know you see it, all right? You've been seeing a lot of false prophets, okay? There are so many false prophets, but there's not a lot of true prophets. And so the Lord is shining light on his real prophets. And that's why we're like, literally, God has aligned the chapters that we're reading, the books that we're reading, to what he needs us to learn. All right. So please be careful with who you allow to speak into your life. Not everybody has a good heart towards you. And on top of that, not everybody was sent by God, because God is not the only one who sends people to us, but Satan sends people as well. And Satan can give you things as well, just like, I was saying, Molech was giving things to Ahab, all right? So Ahab and other people, Jezebel, they've been serving false gods, all right? Little Lord G gods, little false pagan deities. And that's a good thing about God, is we get to choose. But for me, I'm not going to bow down to a counterfeit, all right, when I can give my praise to the one true God, all right? He is real. He is superior, all right? He is genuine, all right? God be praised. God is authentic, all right? So tonight, let's remember that whatever God says is going to go forth has to go forth, because we don't make the rules. God does, all right? And when God chooses to use us, all right, to display his splendor, to display that he is God, because remember, the Syrians had a bunch of men, all right? And the Israel, they did not have a lot of people fighting, all right? But the Lord allowed for I think it was 232, right? Let's go back. 200, and give me 1 minute. 232 princes of the provinces, all right? Let's see, give me 1 moment. Ahab, Yeah, 232 princes of the provinces, all right? And then 7,000 children of Israel. So it was a little bit, all right? But they were what? Mighty. Not because they had a lot of people, but because they had the true, real God with them. And so also, let this be a reminder that when God is with you, just like how Jesus was with his disciples in the boat, sleeping, God be praised. That's a revelation. Excuse me. When God is with us, and remember, praise God, God does not sleep. Okay. Remember when Jesus came here, he came in the human flesh. So what? We need sleep, right? So he was sleeping. And even then, they shouldn't have been like worried. Nobody should have been fearful. Jesus was on the boat. All right. Jesus was on the boat. All right. Yahusha was on the boat. All right. So with God in our lives, we don't need to worry about anybody nor anything, because the God who has created all things is with you. All right. So go tonight with that understanding and be calm with whatever situation you're going through. Just know that you are great. You are in great hands because God is with you. And even when the Lord, it might appear or it might look like God is not there, he's there. All right. Just like Jesus was in the boat, like he was sleeping, but all was well. All they had to do was increase their faith, speak. All right. So speak to your situation. Know that God has your back. And yes, when God chooses us and he wants to display his splendor, it's not about how many people are with you. It's who is with you. If God is with you, then no man can be against you. All right. But just know that when God chooses us, we have to do what thus saith the Lord. Amen. Guys, be blessed. Have an amazing night. I'll see you tomorrow for part 2, all right? So that we can identify true prophets from false prophets, all right? Be blessed, and I'll see you soon. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and also make sure that you subscribe, all right? We're going to higher heights with God and in God. So you don't want to get left. Hit that button, all right? I'll see you soon.